this video, we are going to focus on the probability of complementary events. The total probability of a number of events occurring is 1. Therefore, if P bracket E bracket, which means probability of the event, is the probability of an event occurring, then 1 minus the probability of that event is the probability of the event not occurring. I know that's a bit wordy, but bear with me. Let's take a look at this question. It'll make more sense. A paper bag has 3 red, 2 yellow, and 5 green Smarties in it. What is the probability of not selecting a red Smartie? So the general rule is the probability of the event not occurring equals 1 minus the probability of the event occurring. So you need to find out the probability of the event occurring and subtract it from 1. Let's have a little look at this now. So we go P bracket and we're looking for red. So we're doing the opposite. It says not selecting a red. Figure out what red is first. Okay, so we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 Smarties in the bag, and we know that 3 are red. So the probability of getting the red Smartie is 3 out of 10, or 3 over 10. Now, we want to figure out what's the probability of not getting the red. So not red bracket equals, and we go 1 minus the probability of getting the red. So I've basically replicated this rule here with the topic of the red Smartie. And then we work down the page. 1 minus 3 over 10, because that's what we did find. We found that getting a red was 3 out of 10 chances. So now we go 1 minus 3/10, and the answer is 7/10, and we cannot simplify that. So probability of not getting the red is the complement of probability of getting a red. So when you add together the probability of an event and the probability of its complement, the answer is 1. So if I add 3/10 and 7/10, I'll get 1. Let's now take a look at this question. It says, if I roll an unbiased 6-sided die, what is the probability of 1, not getting a 6, and 2, not getting a 5 or a 6? So it's this key word of not getting, or I should say probably not getting, underline both of those for you. Of not getting means it's a probability of complementary events. So you have to find what it would be to get it and subtract it. So the first thing we're going to do is figure out the probability of getting the 6. Now a 6-sided die has 6 sides and therefore has 6 numbers, and there is 1 6 on that die. So we now know that the probability of getting the 6 is 1/6. So now we do the opposite. The probability of not 6 bracket equals 1 minus the probability of getting the 6. Work down the page, drop the 1 down, subtract. Now we know the probability of that 6 is 1/6. And if we calculate that, 1 minus 1/6 is 5/6. And we can't simplify that. That is in simple terms already. So as you can see, getting it is 1/6. Not getting it is 5/6. If you add 1/6 and 5/6 together, you will get an answer of 1, which means you have done that correctly. Now we're going to do the second question here, and it says not getting a 5 or a 6. So we actually have to do the opposite and figure out what we get when we get a 5 or a 6. So getting a 5 or a 6 equals, we know there are 6 sides to the die, and there is 1 and 2, 1 5 and 1 6, which means it's 2 over 6. And then we simplify that down to 1/3, because 2 is the highest common factor. It goes into itself once and into 6 3 times. Now we have to go to the second line of working here and figure out not getting a 5 or a 6. So we go probability bracket not getting 5 or 6 equals, and that is going to be 1 minus the probability of getting 5, or running out of room here, or 6. So I'll just write that underneath there. Drop the equal sign down and go 1 minus what we already figured out, which is the getting part, which is 1/3. Drop the line down here, and 1 minus 1/3 leaves us with 2/3. So 2/3 is not getting a 5 or a 6. So if we add 1/3 and 2/3, we get 3/3, and simplifies to 1, which means we have achieved the right answer.